My name is Andrea Stephen. I teach at the Waterloo Region District School Board. I am at McGregor Public School and I teach grade 7 French immersion. The activity that we did was a Genius Hour project. We called it Projet Génial in French. And the idea was that students were able to choose a passion of theirs or something they were really interested in exploring further and to create a project around it. So there was a lot of choice and there was a lot of variety in what the students developed. The reason that we did this project was to provide students with the opportunity to choose what they were interested in, and then we found different ways to apply it to the curriculum. Everybody chose something quite different, so I had a learning support or literacy support teacher come in and support us in that project. So a lot of the curriculum expectations were met during this project. There was a lot of oral communication when the students collaborated with each other. It was always in their target language, in the French language. There was a lot of writing as well because we regularly wrote in our blogs to reflect on the project that we were doing and to determine ways that we could improve on what we were doing or to find out how we could overcome different obstacles. There was a lot of reading as well because the students were often involved in some kind of research activity, and there were a lot of media components because the students used a variety of different technology to share their learning, and they created websites, some used coding, and they had a variety of ways to share what they had learned. The learners in these grade 7 classes had a variety of different needs and a lot of different strengths, and I think that was part of the advantage of giving them the choice in what they were learning about. And it was also great because I could conference one-on-one with them. So some students are really strong in writing and they chose activities that would help them show their strengths in this area. Other students had lots of strengths in their oral capabilities, and so they chose activities that would allow them to showcase those abilities as well. Having a variety of different needs worked out really well in this type of activity because it allowed me to work one-on-one and conference with students on a regular basis, so I could really tailor the project to their specific needs. For this project we used a variety of different tools. To start off, all the students created a written proposal on paper that was approved for completeness so that the students had the opportunity to really reflect on what their project might look like at the end, and also to think about some of the struggles that they might have and ways that they could overcome these challenges. After that, there were all kinds of different tools that students used to meet the needs of their projects. We had students create websites to display their learning. We had students create iMovie videos. One girl, she tried to make a screenplay and created a movie, and so that was through iMovie. We had other students coding using the Scratch on the Chromebooks and creating games and also animations that way. Some students use Weebly for their websites and others use Google Sites. Everybody had a blog through Weebly that they used to reflect on their learning. And then in their presentations, a lot of them chose to use Google Slides so that they could demonstrate their thinking to their classmates. There were also a lot of hands-on tools that students used. We had one group of students that were creating a mechanical car, and so they brought in tools from home, batteries and cardboard boxes. Another student, she created a hammock, so she brought in rope and wood to create that hammock. And there were just a variety of different tools and a variety of different things going on in the classroom, and so there was a lot of chaos, but organized chaos with all the different tools that we were using. Another tool that we used regularly was Twitter. We tweeted out using the hashtag Projet Génial the different activities that we were doing and the learning that we had done. And some students were fortunate enough to connect with different groups of people or experts in the field that they were studying to get more information. One student, she was trying to learn how to be the best pet owner, and so one of the groups that she contacted was the Humane Society via Twitter, and they contacted her, and then she was able to communicate with them via email, which I think really deepened her learning, and it made her really excited about her project because it added that extra meaning.
Did the digital tools increase or decrease the cognitive rigor of the task? Why and how?
I feel like the technological tools that we used really increased the rigor of the tasks that we did. When we use the online tools such as websites and blogs, it really opened the students up to a broader audience, which encouraged them to deepen their thinking and to really to reflect on what they were putting out there to the audience, knowing that they would get responses from others. We also blogged consistently about the reflecting that we were doing on our projects, so they would ask questions like, what did you do today? Were you successful? What were the obstacles that you had? How did you overcome them? And when they put those out in a blog, they often had responses either from students in this class or from people beyond the classroom that often asked them questions to deepen their thinking and their understanding. Also, with some of the tools that we use like Scratch, there was a lot of sequential thinking and a lot of problem solving that was necessary to learn more about the tool itself and about how to solve problems that they encountered, because there weren't any experts, specifically Scratch experts in the classroom. They were the experts, and so they had to work really hard to figure out how to overcome those challenges. Students were heavily involved in the decision making in choosing the tools that would best suit their projects. The reason was because they had all chosen very different projects and they all needed very different tools. So students who wanted to make stop motion animation, they turned to the iPads and they tried to find the best app that would best allow them to create the videos that they wanted. Students who wanted to make movies had to decide what was the best way to do that, and in one case in particular, iMovie was the choice of tool for her. Other students, when they did a variety of different projects, they thought the best way to display their information was through a website. So it was completely about the student's choice, and they had to do a lot of exploration in the different tools that were out there so that they could make the best decision for the tool. I thought that this was such a successful experience for me and for the students, and I would for sure do it again, because every day the kids came so excited to learn. They would sometimes run down the hall asking if it was time for Projet Génial because they were so enthusiastic about it. There was maybe one day that somebody forgot their materials. Other than that, they were always prepared and always ready to go because they were so enthusiastic, and the engagement made it all worthwhile.